pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, joined by A.D. Willa Brown, the
Good
Coach
morning.
Van Petaway, and Charles Edmond
Yes,
of
sir.
the Alcorn State Radio Network. I guess the menu looks like this for today. We will visit with members of the Jaguar Athletic Group. We had to delay them from coming on last week, but they'll join us in hour number one. And then we're scheduled to have a report from Birmingham. SWAC Baseball Tournament. A.D. Drew is scheduled to join us in hour number two. Here's what's trending on today's show. Of course, SWAC Baseball Tournament is in full playing mode, but they're also battling Mother Nature. Mother Nature's undefeated, and as we speak right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, there is a flash flood warning. Oh, we get that every day. And the weather is just something you have to deal with. You just have to deal with this time of year. We saw it in the softball tournament, and now we see it in the baseball tournament. SWAC Football Media Day is July 16th. Football is around the corner. And then NBA playoffs. There's a saying, Charles, you remember, defense, Jags, defense. Well, defense, James Harden, defense.
Where?
Hadn't
Where?
seen it.
Where?
Hadn't
Don't go to
seen it. Huh?
Where's the beef? Where's the defense, James Harden? I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, they don't go together. James Harden and defense, that doesn't go together.
James Harden could not guard any one of us. I think if I get about 2 or 3 weeks, James Harden couldn't guard me, and I can't do a thing.
Oh, yeah. He probably could guard me, but guess what? I told you years before, my mother, God rest her soul, man, she took me off the dribble drive and switched in front of all my friends. What is
Wow.
And as much as I talk about the European style, Coach Petaway, that was kind of my style. Look, I'm sitting in that corner. I'm sitting in that corner, and you pass, and I'm giving threes. But if I had to put it on the put the dribble on the court, not good at all. Not good at all. So that's what's coming up on today's show, and so let's get started. SWAC Baseball Tournament in full playing mode, as I stated. Also, Mother Nature's in play. I got a chance to kind of look quickly before we started the show. On SWAC TV, the baseball game has started. Everything has been moved, kind of moved back, but they've got to get it in somehow in some way, Charles.
I just want to commend Jasmine Quinn. If you don't know her, Jasmine Quinn is the director of SWAC Championships.
Mhm.
And it's her call when it comes to these weather delays and having to adjust times. I know at the softball tournament, she was juggling things, but this is probably the most challenging that she's had as far as the baseball tournament is concerned. I mean, Mother Nature is not cooperated. You got these games backed up. You're playing into Saturday and into Sunday. Normally, under normal weather conditions, and if the teams do what they're supposed to do in their respective brackets, there would be no baseball today. And so, and if you have a worst case scenario, you could have 2 games today, but you got a bunch of games today. And so I commend her. I don't know what the weather's going to look like. Hopefully they could be able to get it in, but it's going to be a full day tomorrow, I'm sure. So I want to start with that. But as far as the tournament is concerned, look, you got the top 4 seeds, and you got the 8 seed UAPB, and right now in the bottom of the 6th inning, Bethune-Cookman's leading UAPB 5-3. That was kind of my sleeper team going in, and they have not disappointed. So a lot of baseball left, a lot of drama left. The Jaguars are still rolling; they're still in it. Bethune-Cookman's hanging on. You gotta hear from the other teams as well. That's Florida A&M, Alabama State. Hadn't really talked a lot about them, so a lot of baseball in front of us, and we'll just see how it unfolds.
Yeah, the weather played a a big part, man. I was trying to keep up with it, but with all the weather delays and stuff, you just couldn't get a good feel as to when it was time to watch it. And it was I agree with you. Jasmine's done a great job with the championships and moving stuff around. But man, that weather, I told you all a couple of weeks ago it was gonna be tough on getting the baseball tournament in because of the weather. Because we've gone almost 2 months of drought.
Yeah.
And now it's raining every day.
Yeah.
Every day. We've had a big storm to come through here today. In fact, I thought I wouldn't even be on because it was storming so bad. And sometimes it affects the internet. But Mother Nature has reared her ugly head once again.
And I have this unk on my hat that life is in balance. See how things balance out. Now you just said it was dry. Now you're getting a lot of rain. But I was thinking, Charles, a few years back, maybe several years back, you kind of had this situation has always been there. I remember in Baton Rouge, they ended up using 2 locations, right?
Yes.
Pete Goldsby Field in Baton Rouge, old stadium, still, going on now. They've updated it, and then they had it on campus. Man, they got through it. They got through it. So this is nothing new, but it's just an inconvenience. But at the end of the day, selection Monday's coming, Sunday, so they kind of got to get it in. So we're just hoping that balance comes for this tournament.
Well, you always hear the phrase, it could be better, it could be worse. And what you just said got me thinking all this week. Remember, the baseball tournament was in Baton Rouge. It was in New Orleans. How much rain have you all gotten down at your house, Carlos? It's probably rained every day, pretty much.
We're up to about 6 inches.
6 inches, okay.
Yeah.
So if the tournament was at Southern, if the tournament was in New Orleans, which they have great drainage, but still, you still got to play through that. And so, yeah, Birmingham, they've gotten the weather, but just think if it was down on the coast, and so I think it would be even more of a challenge. So to be able to get this in, and I've seen the post on Facebook too, like they need to move the tournament. Where are you gonna move it? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, you could have it at a place where you have multiple fields, like the Gulfport Sportsplex. But then, if Mother Nature still doesn't cooperate, how are you gonna get those games in with 20 fields? So I think it's a very tough balance. And Mother Nature's winning this week, but hopefully they'll be able to get the games in. And I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise. I saw a comment about the pitching. I think it could be a blessing in disguise because you're not playing all these games in a tight window. There's a lot of downtime. So I think from a pitching standpoint, I think it could be a little bit better instead of these 15-11 games. We haven't seen a lot of that, but hopefully I think pitching will rule these next couple of days.
Right, but Charles, but look, we're not the only one now. You got to remember, in Birmingham, the SEC tournament is going on.
Absolutely.
And in the same city, so they got the same issues, same problem. The one thing they might have an advantage, if I'm not mistaken, that complex has a artificial turf, and so they will be ready to play faster than perhaps Rickwood. But now Rickwood being they're also set up with the tarps and everything that they need. So, Mother Nature, you just got to play through it. You got to play. That's a part of it. That's a part of it.
Yeah. Good morning to the good morning to the chat room. As our colleagues say, good morning, afternoon, Carlos Pan. It's a great day to send Southern home. Hashtag thanks up. Well, according to what I've heard and then what I've seen, man, the pitching has been Southern has gone on a great run in the conference regular season, right? They were hot as fish grease. But when the tournament starts, wipe the slate clean. And I guess I'm going to put it this way. My concern is pitching. During that streak, they were hitting the ball off, the cover off the ball, right? But I am concerned going in today, and we'll see. Brian Fulford has those orange and green glasses on to the T. He's confident. NICEA, he appeared this week saying don't pick FAMU to win it all. But I think I had picked Bethune-Cookman. But when I said that, there we go, Carlos. I will say this from the opening bell: leave the Rattlers alone. Don't pick us in nothing. We're on a roll with a chance for one more this week. They've been playing well. They've been solid. Brian Fulford, my colleague, he kind of thought it was going to be a rematch of Bethune-Cookman and FAMU in the finals, and I can't disagree with that. Bethune-Cookman is coming through the loser bracket, but if anybody can get it done, it's Bethune-Cookman. But Southern's had a very good season. Remember, I've talked about it. They exceeded my expectations. So, I've been talking to the representatives to get that contract ready.
Go ahead on.
Because I have to be a man of my word, right?
Crenshaw finally free.
I didn't think he was gonna get it done. They finished.
I got the pen for you, Carlos. Here's the pen where you can sign the contract right here.
I have a special pen for that. But they finished. I said they have to finish in the top 4, top third, and then make a deep run in the tournament. Now, put a button in right there, Wheeler. We were talking during the week.
Can't get no deeper than this right here, Carlos.
Right. If it's if they lose today, he still met my expectation. So put that contract in there. I want to talk to Coach Banks about that one. UAPB closes the gap against Bethune-Cookman. And last week, I was hesitant to make that prediction. I don't know if you know this. And I've said, finally, I'm going to go with Bethune-Cookman. But just like in basketball, man, they won the regular season, and then what happened in the tournament? Man, these tournaments, man, if you don't have your A game, everybody's coming after you. And if they happen to lose this game, what do you say then, Charles? Coach Pettaway and Wheeler?
They exceeded expectations. I think
Good season.
More time. I said it on Brian's show the other night. I compare Southern baseball and what they're doing right now to Prairie View men's basketball, a team that had been forgotten about, no one talked about. They got hot and having a magical tournament run. You saw what Prairie View men's basketball did. Southern still has a shot to do that, and they're on that kind of carpet ride run right now. So we'll see, but Southern's playing really well right now. I think this downtime with the weather delays and all of that could help pitching a little bit. And I see right now UAPB's trying to, stay close with Bethune-Cookman. But, the SWAC tournament always has its surprises, Carlos. And right now UAPB is that surprise, pushing Bethune-Cookman to the brink.
Now, let me say it again. So your comments are, panel, Bethune-Cookman still has an outstanding season, even if they get knocked off today. Wait a minute. Interesting. I think the expectations were to just they were going to run through it, and if they get knocked off, you don't think it's some kind of a letdown? I'm albeit a very good season to your point.
Yes. Yeah. It is.
I don't know if it's a major letdown, Carlos. I don't know if it's a major letdown. I mean, sure, there's going to be some disappointment there, but, I'd have to reflect back on, budgetary constraints and things of that nature. But historically, the Florida schools always do well. Because they got so much good weather to practice in and so much, good times to be getting it in. And historically, they've always done well. Them and FAM have always done well baseball.
And Coach Pettaway, you can see their fans once they came into the SWAC. Oh man,
They told the SWAC to get ready.
For baseball.
When they announced that they were coming, they told them to get ready for baseball because they were going to bring that brand, the brand that they play. But in Florida, it's just like what Willa said. They have more opportunities to practice and get stuff done because of the weather. And I think it was Dr. Cavil that just told us 8 different conferences had weather delays when it comes to baseball. So see, it's not just the SWAC. So everybody has to be able to make those adjustments. And I think once the coaches figure out who to pitch and who's ready to pitch, I think that's going to be the difference maker. Getting the right, having the right pitcher available. Will is what I'm saying. Right.
And push come to shove, the NCAA is just going to have to delay their their
selection.
Yeah. I mean, because if it's that many conferences, having issues weather-wise, that sort of thing, is definitely going to affect the seeding. Yeah, so it's not like you can say, well, the first team out of the SEC is going to be here, and that sort of thing. You got to look at the records. You got to look at the bodies of work.
And then Will, wouldn't one of the things would be if these different conferences could not finish their season, they'll call it right now, and then they'll have now Carlos, regular season comes into play now. Because no, I'm serious now. Because what they'll look at is the overall body of work, what you did during the regular season, and this is where it's going to hurt us. Our RPI is not that high.
Yeah, well, you know how that goes. Brian Fool said my school won 37 regular season games and didn't make the championship game. I call it a disappointing year. Now, for context, Brian Fulfer is a FAMU graduate, so that's a little jab at Bethune-Cookman, the Wildcats. But you know what? In that position, I would feel the same. Good regular season, but that asterisk would be there. We lost out like Grambling State, 0-2 in barbecue, JSU. I think I saw somebody talking about Omar. Stay off of Coach Omar. Now, I'm going to defend Coach Omar. I'm sorry. They had a slip up. They lost 2 games. A loss is a loss, but man, they had some unfortunate luck. And so I don't know. Someone was talking about that in the chat room. I haven't heard that. Oh, here we go. The real is has Omar been fired yet? I haven't heard that. And he shouldn't be.
He ain't going nowhere.
I think, first of all, you got to look at the contractual situation, how much time he has left. First of all, from a financial perspective, buying out coaches is something, and even though they could do it, I think Omar has done a lot, but we're in a society now is what have you done for me lately? And HBCU Sports came out with it, Carlos, since 2021 in the SWAC Baseball Tournament. Jackson State has lost 7 one-run games, 7 in the tournament. And so that is sticking in the gut of a lot of Jackson State supporters. You can't finish the deal. And so has Omar done well? Yes. We all remember beating Louisiana, the number 1 seed and number 1 team in the country that year. But that's in the distant memory of a lot of folks. And it's what have you done lately? You've been 1 and 2 and done. And so I think that's something that folks are talking about.
I still say you look at his budget. It's got to be 5th or 6th in the conference. Easily. And to be in the discussion year after year, and a man has won over 600 games during the course of his career as a head coach. Come on now, we shouldn't even be having this conversation in my mind. And certainly Ashley shouldn't be having that conversation with anybody. He should be defending Omar tooth and nail. Just like the guy before him handpicked his successor. Omar should be allowed to handpick his if and when the time comes. He's earned that right, in my opinion.
Oh, well, let's see. Jamar Clark, I guess you a Jackson State alum, right? And he says, why we defend Omar? Guess what? Oh, come on, Jeremiah. Oh, come on.
man.
400 of those wins versus Tuggerville.
400, 400. They still count. They're still in the book.
Jeremiah, calm down. I work in the school system here in Baton Rouge. We have exercise, breathe in and breathe out.
Boy, they hit deep. Boy, they hit deep.
Yeah, you gotta be fair. Come on. He is owed, in my opinion, a right to turn it around. Right?
He is.
In basketball, if you lose by 40 or you lose by 2, it's still a loss. I understand that. But come on. Omar has done a lot. And I also saw posted on on X, they give out his whole body of work. It's impressive. Now you line that up to most recently, he deserves a shot to turn it around. That's just my humble opinion, and I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, and I agree. I think, and we've been around Omar's program enough. I have, and just the stuff that he's done in the past. But unfortunately, we're in a society now in which you're looking at the recent body of work.
Does that make it right? That's just an opinion now.
It doesn't make it right, but it's just an unfortunate reality of where we are right now. I mean, and if Omar's team over the last few years had got to Friday, I think you wouldn't be having this deep of a conversation about it. But because he's been 2 and done, 7 one-run losses in the last 5 years in the tournament, that's tough for some people to swallow, considering that Jackson State is a blue blood SWAC baseball program. I think that's just the mindset of folks right now. I get it. I'm an Omar defender. Him and I weren't on great terms for a while. We are now, but I defend his body of work. But of late, it has been a struggle. And Jacksonians are kind of sick and tired of the 2 and dones. That's just my opinion.
But at least he's making the tournament. He's making the tournament. There are a lot of schools that don't even make the tournament.
I agree.
He's always in the conversation, guys. Always in the conversation. Each and every year, he's in the conversation in terms of the possibility of winning a SWAC championship. That's number one. And then all those people that are complaining about his progress or lack thereof, they need to dig a little deeper. They need to dig a little deeper in their purses and pocketbooks and wallets, and help to get the man the things that he needs in order to ultimately get over the hump.
Yeah, I'm always a tough cookie, but now sometimes you got to be fair and balanced. I'm going to tell you, if you look at some of the baseball programs in this conference, some should be in a world of trouble as well, but you kind of give them a break. Coach Pettaway, Alabama A&M has had their issues in baseball.
Right, yep.
Alcorn's had their issues in baseball big time. Southern University, they're one of the blue buds, and I get it. How I was talking about, I wasn't convinced that Coach Crenshaw would make it. But he turned it around. And so that's why I'm saying you have to afford them the opportunity to turn it around.
Yeah, I'm just kind of right in the middle of it. I mean, and I know you can't play both sides, but on one hand, I see there are some people that support Omar and what he's done, but I just look at where I stand and how people feel about sports. They want to see results right here and right now. Some don't even remember what Omar did back in the past and all the Eastern Division titles he's won and all of that. That carries you a long way. But then when you stumble like he stumbled, people are saying, you know what? It just may be time. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Omar will walk away when he's ready. But I think people are like, something's got to shake here. New pitching coach, hitting coach, something's got to shake. If not, the head coach has got to shake. And I think that's
he may have to make some adjustments staff-wise. You know, I'll be one of the first ones to admit that, and
Yeah.
that's something that probably going to have that discussion. If and when the season ends. No doubt about that. As we look to improve, look to see what it is that we need to do in order to continue to take that ultimate step. That's all. That's all a part of the process, I think. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're the director of athletics, you have to ask yourself, can I find somebody that's going to do it better? And that's going to be the real key right there. Can I find somebody that's on par with what this man has done over the last umpteen years? And if that answer is no, then you better think 2 or 3 times before you let this guy go.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So in the chat room, if you're just tuning in, someone mentioned about maybe Coach Omar not being there. I haven't heard anything from the outside looking in, but I guess that's just one of the questions that were brought up. Dr. Cavil said, if we could pull up his comment, he kind of talks about the internet athletic directors. These emotional internet directors of athletics are hilarious. And that's kind of the thing I guess Charles was bringing up, like the way social media is today, but based on some of those emotional criterias. I'm in a town that their baseball program was a defending national champions, right? And guess what, Coach Pettaway? They're not going to even make the tournament at all. Right. So based on some, not all, some, then should they fire Jay Johnson? Look at his body of work compared to this year. That's what I'm saying. Some of this is foolishness.
Yeah.
Free Omar. Free Coach Omar.
But I tell you what, Carlos, that school across town there, you let them not make the NCAA tournament next year. You go 2 years in a row after winning the national championship and not making the NCAA tournament at all. I don't know if the LSU Tiger faithful gonna stand for that one.
Well, they got all kind of troubles. Coach Pettaway, it's from a financial standpoint, you put everything on the credit card, eventually that bill is gonna come due.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
And once again, we kind of talked about something similar on this show. I know you have to win in this climate. You want to win now.
Yep.
But what will you do? Will you forsake all your athletic morality just to win, Coach Pettaway?
Yes.
No,
you don't do it.
You're saying yes, but I say don't do it.
Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is you shouldn't, but we're seeing it being done. The answer is no. But the bill is coming due. I mean, look at these athletic programs are being more transparent. Like, something's got to change here. $40, $50 million football rosters are coming. You just can't afford it. And
no, they're here.
They're here.
We're close.
Yeah.
But in that same article, Coach Pettaway, I don't know if people saw that. Look how many of them are in the red.
Right.
I mean, there's a bunch of them. So, we can't compare apples and oranges where we at, right? But what you're seeing at that top level is not as steady. And don't jump on a sinking boat. Of course, we don't have that kind of money we're talking about. We had the ADs on last week. It's a financial challenge.
Yeah.
It is. But when you look up, yes, the bill is due. When you look up, you saw all of those big universities losing money big time. They're cutting salaries. They're cutting personnel. We're blessed in our conference. We're financially stable, and we should continue on with that ship.
Yeah, I agree with that, Carlos. I mean, but what you're seeing is that, and I've texted to you guys, I think the days of printing money at these big schools is over. Prior to this, all you were paying for scholarships, which is costly, cost of attendance, which can be costly, but now you're paying these quarterbacks, a top tier quarterback is going to cost you $3 or $4 million a year. And so
that's
money are over.
But you know what I don't want to
foolish.
see? You know what I don't want to see, and it's going to happen? They're going to put all this on the athletes receiving money. You know, they're going to try to use that as an excuse for saying that's why they're deaf. They are having these deficits. But the deficits were there before we ever got to this. Even before this NIL came and came to pass, you still only had 5 or 6 programs at the most that turned out.
Yeah.
Like you said, Coach Petaway, it's always been that way.
Right.
You know, the majority of those schools taking $2, $3, and $4 million in the red over into the next year, and just hiding it up under this, hiding it up under that. You know, our business people are very creative in terms of what they do with numbers. You know, and that's on all levels. You know, because in a lot of states you can't carry over athletic debt from year to year. You know, but we know that there's some red there, and it's being hidden. It's just a matter of where it is.
Well, as I stated before, time is coming. Those Alcorn Mississippi State games, LSU Southern, some of those, and I saw a recent article about the paydays. That's going to dry up. Plan accordingly. Because this thing is so shaky when it's, and you know, working in the business world, a lot of times at a company I was working at, as soon as something happened, they don't cut at the top. Guess where they cut at? They cut at the bottom, right? And a lot of times it's top heavy. But anyway, I digress.
But now look, when we're saying that some of the programs don't have the money in baseball, if the money was given, Wheeler, what would elevate a baseball program? If you gave them more money, where would it go to?
You know, scholarships, first off, no doubt about that. You know, and then everything else kind of trickles down from there. You look at your staff and see, you know, if you have the requisite number of assistant coaches, that sort of thing, you know, especially in terms of position coaches. You know, you look at your facilities and see if your facilities are up to par. Are there anything that you can do, you know, in terms of sprucing the place up, you know, things of that nature. But first and foremost, it's scholarships, Coach.
Right.
You know, and recruiting budget, that sort of thing. You know, you got to have the dollars required to go out and get the best of the best. You know, you ain't going to be able to do that if you don't have anything to give them.
And I think one of the things that when the NC2A allowed you to expand your baseball roster, I don't think there are very many SWAC schools that did that.
And they probably didn't have the money to do so, Coach. Couldn't afford to.
Not only the SWAC. Some of the other, and then facilities, I think would, you know, upgrade, but all that kind of ties into, Will, what you were saying about offering more scholarships, you know, recruiting budget, and kind of the good thing is, you can kind of regionalize your non-conference games, you know, and I think some of them do that now. Like in the state of Louisiana, there's ULL, McNeese, Nichols, Southeastern, Northwestern State. So that helps on that part.
It's a non-revenue sport. You know, and to me, that means that, you know, they're not going to bring in the kind of dollars that you're looking for in terms of that you get out of your revenue sports. It just doesn't happen. You know, so if you think you're throwing the money down a black hole, in essence, you are. You know, because if you're looking for a financial return, you know, on your investment, it ain't going to happen. That's why they're non-revenue sport.
Can we dream, though, Wheeler, one day, maybe 50 years from now? Y'all guys won't be here, but I might. Can we, Coach Petaway and Wheeler, can we see it where it's making money, and if not, at least kind of come up that negative line?
I mean, if you know, the goal is always to at least break even. You know, that was always my goal anyway in terms of the non-revenue sports. You know, let's see if we can break even. We can break even, I'm happy. Yeah, and if we got to go in the red, let's not try to go too deep at all. You know, but you know that going in, you know, that ain't no money to be made, you know, pretty much on a revenue sports. You're not going to get it off of concessions. You're not going to get it from the few dollars that you charge at the gate, that sort of thing. You know, hell, like we was talking about before, Omar cutting his own grass on the field. He cutting his own grass. He lining the field, that sort of thing. You know, so to me, you know, I mean, he's going above and beyond the call of duty. You know, and at some point in time, you know, you got to coaches got to get credit for the things that they do that they don't necessarily have to do.
Well, speaking of that, and we'll bring them on, but before we do, I was shocked that some baseball programs don't charge for attendance. I was shocked. I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? I know it's Southern, and guess what? I'm not a cheapskate. I pay for basketball and baseball. I pay like a regular fan. That's kind of giving it back a little bit. You know, I don't have the money like Charles does, but I was shocked. I was blown away.
I mean, there are ticket booths set up at a lot. I mean, for full transparency, Alcorn does not charge, and it was discussed briefly. It was discussed years ago. Well, we need to start charging for baseball. It's been a couple of ADs ago. We need to start charging for baseball. That's as far as the conversation went between point A and point B. There's a ticket booth there. It never happened. But you know, at Jackson State, I know they charge. Been there. UAPB, they charge. I've been there. Southern University, of course, they charge. Texas Southern, of course, they play at a different field. They don't. Prairie View, Tankersley Field, I don't know if they do or not. But no, there's a number of schools that do not charge. So that's a challenge. But then, you know, you talk about what the comment was, that staff versus scholarships. You got to add one more to this piece. And a guy stopped me at the grocery store, was a JSU grad. He said, man, we got to start paying these baseball players. So now you're talking about staff, you're talking about scholarships, and then you're talking about NIL. You throw that in. Yeah.
Most of them don't raise enough money to pay the ticket takers or the security that you're going to have if you're charging for admission. You know, so we're talking about, you know, trying to make money off of the non-revenue sports, you know, but at the same time, you got to pay those people, you know, that normally you would not be paying. You wouldn't be paying for security at a baseball game because there's no money involved. You know, you wouldn't be paying for ticket takers because there's no tickets being sold. You know, so, you know, for everything that's happening, you know, there's a cost to it. So you have to weigh whether or not what you're going to make off of these games is it going to be able to cover the expenses necessary in order to do so.
Well, let's put a slight button there. Members of the Jaguar Athletic Group, Janera and Daniel, are here. Roy, you can bring them up. They're booster group, and you know, we had the ADs on last week, and it's some things that everybody has to help with. Coach Pettaway, they do have a tough job, but how can we help? Good morning, Daniel and Janera. Good morning. We finally got you on. I deeply apologize for last week. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You kind of heard the conversation. Like we have these interesting conversations from time to time. We're talking about baseball, but ultimately it's about, from our standpoint, alum and supporters to give back and help. Would you agree on that?
We definitely agree, and like I said, we don't mind not getting on last week because that was a great conversation, one that really needs to be had, because a lot of fans just assume things are going to work just because you have some funding from the school, you have some funding from the state, but everywhere else we have to fundraise from our own donors. So, like I said, we're built on the model of Taft at LSU, 12-man foundation at Texas A&M. We all do the same thing. So at this point, we want to make sure that our fans and supporters understand that we just have to give back, and there's no way around it because, like the athletic directors told you last week, they just can't cover it all. And when you look at every school, no matter how large it is, every school is basically underfunded. And if it's not for these booster clubs like us at Jaguar Athletic Group, they're just going to have shortcomings and shortfalls that they're just not going to be able to cover.
And, correct. And so the next step is, Janera, your group, the group, where are they now as far as specific targets that they're doing to help? Because I know we talked to you 2 weeks ago, and you were talking about the Premier Protein and kind of things you give to the football program, but you guys are also going to be involved, I think, with helping not only the football program but all student athletes. Talk about that.
All athletics. We want to focus on all athletics. Football is our focus right now because, of course, the season is going to begin. We didn't get a chance to reach out to softball and baseball because of their what they're doing right now, and we didn't know the need. We asked them to reach out to us if they have a need as well. And what are those needs? So we're still kind of navigating that. Also, right now, we're focusing on our Fuel the program, which is our nutritional and also our strength and conditioning portion of one of our missions. So we did the Premier Protein. We want to spread the Premier Protein to anybody that needs it. Anything that deals with nourishing that program, we want to deal with it. And right now, we're now focused on the other part of Fuel the program, which is our strength and conditioning component. We're raising funds to now get different items that they need for strength and conditioning. We're starting in June. They actually need these items for June. So that's our new program that we're focusing on. So we're asking everybody to really donate heavy and hard to fuel the program because it's a lot that goes into these programs.
And how has guys been the conversation with the new staff, Coach Falk, and his assistants and stuff? Have you been having a good relation with them as far as their needs? Have y'all communicated with them?
Yes, we've had a chance to work with Coach Falk's staff and just see what kind of things that they need. Of course, since football is basically the main fundraiser for our athletic department, it's been great to be able to just find out what they need, what is the strength and conditioning department is going to need. Because for me, as a former strength and conditioning coach at Southern, it's just we always kind of don't get appreciated, and nobody understands all the stuff that we need. So, look, as far as that point is concerned, when Coach said he needed some things, we said, well, let's jump on it. Again, we got the protein for him. We have protein going forward for the summer for those students who are going to be, those student athletes who are going to be working out. Then, of course, we have to get that new equipment. And the good thing about the new equipment is it's not something that's going to have to be purchased continuously. It's just something that's mainly going to be almost a one-time purchase that they can use continuously going forward. But that protein is going to be something that we're going to have to fundraise for continuously to make sure that after they lift weights, they still have the ability to put back the proteins and all the nutrients that they need because, again, you can lift as much weight as you want, but if you don't have the protein and the other macronutrients and micronutrients to make sure that all that work doesn't go to waste.
Danny looks like he can still have eligibility left and playing because I remember him. That was a nasty group on that old line, and oh, yeah, they were pretty good. They were
We
pretty
had some
good.
fun now. We had some fun.
I remember. Trust me. As far as membership, I know you always have a membership drive. Where are you with that?
We've gotten a lot of people interested and that have paid in. Our subscriptions are going well. We just need the rest of alumni to just, come on and move. Of course, we have people that are skeptical. They're like, okay, how is this? How are y'all different from any other groups? And how do you do? We're actually not different. We should really all be working together. And that's what we want to see in the future, that all these groups that we do have are working together. Our membership drive is going very well. June 1st, we're going to start out with our new website where members can log into their membership portal. They get all the information that they need about JAG. And then we've also started developing committees. So it's going very well. We just need to get more subscriptions in.
Well, you're going to get one from me. And budget director, did you hear that? And also, I know another person I'm going to talk to right after the show. Best friend and bodyguard. And we're going to get involved. And you said something interesting with the other athletic groups. I truly wish, now this is just me, that it can be a good relationship, working together, because at the end of the day, it's about the student athletes. So very important. I know that somebody's listening. If they're not, somebody's going to reach out and touch them and tell them you need to work together. Really do.
We do. It's time. It's past time. If we want our HBCUs to be strong, we have to get in there together and say, okay, look, we're doing this. We see it. We see the model everywhere else. In PWIs, you see this model all the time. We're not fighting for power. We're not fighting for money. We're not fighting to see who's going to be seen. We don't care. We don't need to be seen. Danny and I have been doing this for years. Danny's been doing it way longer than I have. And to see some of the students, I'm because I'm his wife, I see it firsthand how students come up and they say, how he was a great strength and conditioning coach and how he did these things during their time there. Of course, they talk about Zeus. We can't miss Zeus, right? Because Zeus was dynamic as well. I think Dan is trying to say something. I don't know if he.
No, it might be his mic.
Okay, it might be his mic. But yeah, so working together is very important to us, and we embrace anybody that wants to work with us. We embrace it and we say, come on, we're ready.
I would agree wholeheartedly. Good comments. Yeah, I think his mic is
yeah, Daniel, your mic is muted, I think.
Okay, we'll
get he's back. Going in and out. He was driving, so he had to stop on the side of the road. So, yeah.
Oh, I understand. We'll wait for him to come back in. So you kind of talk about your projects going. And then in the fall, well, football season will be here. Anything special that you're going to do leading up to that time, and then when actually football season is here?
Yeah, we have a lot of things in the work. It's just getting it over and done. One of our things this year is really trying to get together people from the community to come in and work with all of the teams, all of athletics. We want to push more out into the community and get more sponsors, of course, in the community, highlight their businesses. One of the businesses we're highlighting right now for homecoming is Enisa Bowman. It's Clay Cut. We have special earrings that are being made. And I say special earrings, they're luxury earrings for the ladies for homecoming. Everybody always has to have their outfit, and these earrings, she's donating a percentage of those that she sells back to athletics. So those are the type of relationships we're trying to develop right now with individuals in the community, because I think the community has been kind of like overlooked a little bit within sports. And especially at Southern, it's kind of like we don't reach out to our own and these people that are pushing these Black businesses. And so that's what JAG is doing. We're reaching out to vendors, all kind of people. So those are some of the things we have in the works coming for the fall. We have a really big surprise for homecoming. We're not going to let that out right now, but we have a really big surprise that we're going to have for homecoming.
Yeah, don't tell me, because sometimes I'm not good with holding secrets. And I always blame it on Charles because he's always snooping around. Daniel, last word, sir.
Look, thank you all for having us on. We definitely appreciate it. Please support Jaguar Athletic Group or whichever group you want to support, because we all need to make sure that we're moving toward and pulling in the right direction, which is pulling towards our student athletes. If we want to have a successful athletic department, a successful, great student athlete experience, we have to pull together, put our resources together, because nobody's going to do it but us. So we have to pull those resources and do it together.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's right. And I will be contacting you after the show. Some things to talk about it, and we'll appreciate the time. You'll be back on regular. Give us an update.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Well, there's members of the Jaguar Athletic Group, and why am I getting this text message? Can I read it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you and your panel let us win a tournament? What are you talking about? Every time we are the favorites, we get the Carlos Brown kiss of wait a minute. Wait a minute. So does that mean Bethune-Cookman has been upset?
They're losing 14-8 right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They're on the verge of being eliminated.
Blame it on the rain, baby. Blame it on the rain.
That is surprising. That is, the pitching has fallen apart there for Bethune. UAPB playing with house money. They were my surprise team, Carlos.
Yep, I was about to say that. You picked them, Charles. You said you need to watch out.
You gave them the kiss of death, not me. and guess what? It's just like in basketball. Wheeler, I told him these tournaments, this is what happened. It's the excitement.
Anybody's game. Anybody's game.
And if it was the regular season, they would be there, right, Coach Pettaway?
Yeah.
They would be in the tournament. I mean, they would be going on to the NCAA. Unbelievable. And that was a good friend I met from Bethune-Cookman. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll get a report, I guess, from SWAC 2026 Baseball Tournament with Mr. A.D. Drew is kind of scheduled to join us. So we'll take a break. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. As a huge clap of thunder just came in my house, I'm getting accused of giving people the kiss of death, all kind of stuff. Look, you have to have thick skin.
Well, Carlos,
If you're a coach,
when you made the prediction, you were kind of hesitant. you were hesitant, and my mama always, God rest her soul, said, "Go with your first mind." And your first mind may not have been leaning towards Bethune. You were kind of torn, and then you eventually said Bethune-Cookman. So I think you were in your mind, you were hesitant to go that way. I wasn't. It looked like I might be wrong, but you were kind of up in the air.
So you gave him a slow kiss, Carlos. You gave him a slow kiss.
I know, and somebody in the chat room said I picked Southern. No, yeah, you're right, Charles. I picked Bethune-Cookman, but I was hesitant. But I'm kind of shocked with the score. And speaking of that, AD Drew, Black College Sports Network, joins us live from the location. AD, good afternoon, sir.
Uh-oh. AD, you on mute.
Good, Mike.
I think some people want to mute me today.
AD,
are you there, AD? Okay, we'll let him. He'll get it straight. But
looks like the weather's okay, just based on the background.
You guys hear me now?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a different setup than I would, and it went back to my default microphone instead of this one. Man, all right, y'all. Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody have on their bingo card Bethune-Cookman in the first round?
No.
You know, we had the weather on the bingo card, but we did not have Bethune-Cookman losing in the first round on the bingo card.
I mean, this is devastating, AD. I mean, you look at the regular season, 2 huge wins against LSU right here in Baton Rouge and in Florida. But you know what? I think teams in the conference know each other kind of better than those non-conference games, but that's not to take anything away from Bethune-Cookman. Those were major victories. There was even talk of maybe a possibility of a 3 seed if they get to win the tournament. Yeah. It's just shocking to me, really shocking.
Yeah. Well, let's look at this, Carlos. Bethune-Cookman, when they went through the regular season, of the 7 other teams in the tournament, did not sweep them.
Right.
So Bethune-Cookman dropping a game does not surprise me. You do realize Bethune-Cookman has trailed to start every game here in Birmingham. And Bethune-Cookman has lived off of the big innings. The biggest thing was they won Wednesday. Their big inning was not enough to make up the deficit that they had against UAPB. They had the big inning against Grambling, took the lead against Grambling, and held Grambling off. They same thing. Now today, trailed early, big inning, and then giving it up late. So we've seen the pattern here at here in Birmingham, everybody. And also keep something in mind. Should UAPB go on to win this particular ball game, they will be at a point in time where they will have to win 5 games in about 42 hours to become SWAC champions. Because they played last night, they have to play 2 today, and then they will have to play 2 tomorrow in order to get the crown.
Wow.
That's going to be
due to the weather.
Yeah. And Mother Nature's undefeated. That's going to be tough. And if you flip it to the other bracket, Southern has to defeat FAMU twice.
Yeah.
To get it done.
Well, everything definitely favors Florida A&M right now. They won the first 2 games. They got the day off yesterday due to the weather, which allows them to reset their pitching a little bit. And let's think about this. We've got teams, because of the weather, that are at different stages of the tournament. For instance, Florida A&M, 2 games, day off, best opportunity to reset your pitching. You've got Alabama State, who's only played 2 games, but their 2 games have been marred by weather delays and everything else. So their pitching is not at the same spot where Florida A&M would be, even though they both played 2 games. Remember, Alabama State started to stop that game, 3 times yesterday? That costs you pitching. You know, not only the pitcher who's on the mound, but every time those kids go down to the bullpen to warm up and then don't come into a game, that also affects your pitcher. Poor UAPB. I mean, they like I say, they got 5 games that they've got to go through should they hold on to this particular game. And then Southern, you talk about Southern coming back from last night. They will wind up being 3 games in about a 30-hour time span should Southern make it to the championship game tomorrow. You don't see this in the regular season.
No, Charles, in panel, it's gonna be tough. You know, my heart is for, of course, my alum, my team, but that's gonna be a tough situation. And for UAPB as well. We're gonna have Dr. Cavil join in now. He's also live in Birmingham. Dr. Cavil, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm supposed to be out there with AD Drew, but I
got you set up, Doc.
I appreciate you. I brought the boys. My son, who's been traveling with me the last 4 years, after he finishes his school year, his reward of a good school year is to go to the baseball tournament. He's a big baseball fan, as you may have imagined, playing baseball himself. He's connected with a lot of coaches, even at home games with Texas Southern or Prairie View. Him and Miles, his best friend, essentially, do interviews, and it's been kind of a big thing. So I wanted to shout them out, but unfortunately, Miles got a little sick this morning, so I had to take care of him, so I'm not at the ballpark. But Drew hit it on the nail in terms of what you've seen from Pine Bluff. The other thing I wanted to bring out, besides what he said, is usually when we think of let me use this framework, the former teams in the Eastern Division versus the former teams in the Western Division, is that the pitching depth was deeper. Well, guess what has happened this tournament? Pitching has let Bethune-Cookman down.
Yeah.
I think the coach off the record would say that. I'm not sure if he, wants to say it in terms of great plays had by these teams. Not put young folks, under the bus, if you would. But from a media analyst perspective, we can kind of talk about it without saying names. Is that what was preferably their strength has become a weakness. We've seen in this contest where the bat woke up, just as Charles said, got him a big inning and went into it 8-3, and then you find around Pine Bluff, who everybody has said they've been able to hit all year long, hits their way back into it, and now you see what is taking place in terms of this matchup. So over the last couple of days, East Bethune-Cookman has been let down with their pitching late in games and hadn't necessarily got outside of big innings very timely hits. Is what you need in the tournament, and it really gives you kudos just how deep this tournament has become. The last thing I'll get you before I provide some comments. This was the tournament where 3 weeks ago it looked like it was going to be an all former East Division matchup with all former West Division matchup. Then the week after that, the next 2 weeks, it went where you would have 3 teams formerly of the East Division or 3 teams formerly of the West with one opposite in there. Well, the final week had the matchups from the first day where you had essentially all East-West matchups, and it framed up the same way where if you would have the number 1 team in the East play the number 4 team in the West. It was that matchup was weird. And we have this thing that we keep up with those matchups just over the years trying to settle this argument. Thus far in the tournament, you have the former East Division teams with 5 wins and the Western Division teams with 3 wins based on those matchups. And if things hold up, that would go to 5-4, and you get another time to see Pine Bluff face another former East Division team. The other thing was in this matchup, I always look at 2 runs, 2 outs. What can you do with 2 outs? Can you close it and get out the inning, which we've seen Pine Bluff be successful for the most part, other than that tough loss they had last night where they came. Lost after the comeback by Alabama State. Credit to Alabama State. But they did that on 2 outs. And today, they scored 5 runs in this last inning after they tied the game with 2 outs. To me, that's the college game. When you get 2 outs, do you have a team, which Southern did coming down the stretch? They would find a way to get big bats late in games to pull out victories, oftentimes with 2 outs. This tournament, when they won, they've done that. When they've lost, they have not. And look at most of the teams. That's what you see in the SWAC, particularly in college baseball this year and in this tournament.
Man, that 3rd out from a defense standpoint, it's how many teams.
It's when it get interesting. Yep.
Yeah. Get that
Carlos,
3rd
we followed
out.
this for the last 20-some years, at least 15. I won't put your age out. Right? I feel like being kind today, Carlos. You let me joke. We've seen that over the years with battles between Jackson State and Southern. We've seen it with Prairie View and Southern, Texas Southern and Southern, and now lately Alabama State and Southern, Pine Bluff and FAMU with these matchups. 2 outs. Can you close out the inning and get me to that dugout? Or does the other team find a way to be like, no, we're not ready to go to the dugout yet. Stay out there. That's the key.
Well, Dr. Cavil, man, people are saying interesting. They didn't really know that about what you just provided. And also I'm still getting text messages with how this thing will play out. I know we've emphasized it a lot, Mother Nature, and we don't have to do it again. You just got to get through it. But from your perspective, will we can't see another FAMU Bethune-Cookman final game, but I'm gonna be honest, FAMU looks strong. Who comes out? Who comes out of that other bracket?
They certainly look strong, but I wouldn't give it up yet. I think Alabama State will come out. When you know anything about an Alabama State FAMU matchup, nothing's for sure for FAMU. Alabama State is playing really well right now. They're playing really well, just as well as FAMU. Go ahead.
Dr. Cavil, I got to go against you on that one. And you know, Dr. Cavil, even though it's Saturday, I did my homework. So here we go. In today's matchup, let this quiet down a little bit. You got to figure for FAMU, this is treated like game 3 of a series where you're going to probably have your Sunday starter going if you're Florida A&M. Florida A&M this season is 10-3 on day 3 of a 3-game series, which essentially this is what it is for Florida A&M.
But Drew, I was talking about the championship game. He's saying coming out of this.
Oh, you talking about coming out? I thought you was talking about coming out the bracket.
FAMU will have the best chance coming out, but they're gonna fast out.
I got you.
State. When you talk about a one-game scenario over the years, historically, I don't care if one team comes out undefeated or not. Those games in the championship game have been one-run games late into those contests for the last 10 years. Anything goes.
We got one out here in the top of the 9th, everybody. So I know I'm a little bit ahead of most of you guys' feed. I am going to flip it around as I continue to comment. But you got to look at tomorrow's game. No matter who's in the championship game, it's going to be a bullpen session. So what it's going to really come down to, do Florida A&M and Alabama State get out of today clean? What do I mean by clean? They do not have to play the if game, especially if you are Alabama State, because that if game is actually tomorrow morning now because of the reconfigured schedule. So it's doubly important for Alabama State to come out clean today, whereas FAMU would have to double up against Southern this evening, weather permitting.
And going into then your depth comes into play.
Yeah. It's all bullpen. It's bullpen at that point. But FAMU could, because of how everything is reset, they could bring back their day 2 starter. Their day 1 starter to get them through in an if game, which still leaves their day 2 starter should FAMU win the if game and play Saturday. So FAMU, win or lose his first game, is still in the best position to get to the championship over Southern.
Yeah, but if you Charles, I think you want to take care of business and not go to that second game. I'm saying if you're in FAMU and Alabama State's from their perspective, which will be interesting. I'm going to make a prediction. I love my Jaguars, Wheeler, but I'm just not confident that they'll get it done against FAMU. But I hope I am wrong.
Wow!
I hope I'm
absolutely shocked.
No, Carlos has been living on this lane for the last. Don't act like it's shocking, Charles. He been doing this for weeks. It's his thing right now. He goes the opposite direction, and he feels like he's doing a little mojo to the other team to get let down. And then when he comes back, he says, "Hey, congratulations!" Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Roy in the background, don't get happy. Setting you up.
Well, I've been accused of having a kiss of death, but
that's my boy. Not seen him at his best. He put that show out there. He done went to New Orleans and learned some new stuff.
And I'll get some emails for that. But but I hope I'm wrong. But FAMU just looked so solid the other night. I mean, tough, just tough.
But there's a chink in the armor, Carlos. If you notice, especially against Southern, they were not able to close that game out when they had that 10-run lead a couple of times. Southern was able to get back into the game and keep it interesting. So that makes a difference, Carlos. Can FAMU close out? First of all, Southern's got to find some bats against the FAMU pitching. But if it's close, and we've seen this from both these teams, Southern and FAMU. I don't know who's won who's two as far as come from behind victories, but those two have to be two of the top three teams in this conference as far as come from behind victories.
Well,
Late come from behind victories.
Like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but see, this is getting grayer and grayer thanks to Southern baseball.
Well, I have a question and a comment for AD. I've been reading his post on the Black College Nines. He recaps all these games, and he's doing a real good job with that. So I appreciate his commentary with that.
Outstanding job.
My question, AD, since you've seen all these games with these delays, and it's been really deep. I mean, it's not like you're moving a game here. You're wiping out a lot of games and moving it to Saturday and even into Sunday. Which team you think, and looks like Bethune might not recover, but which team looks the freshest with more bounce, just more spunk? I mean, because these games drag on a normal situation, but with the weather, it gives teams a little bit more downtime. Are you noticing more bounce, more pep in the step of some of these teams, even though Mother Nature hasn't cooperated?
Obviously, that's a better question posed for this evening after you watch today's game, Charles. But right now, you would think Florida A&M. Look, let me back up. All four teams all five teams currently playing. We're about to cut it down to four as Bethune-Cookman as one out here in the top of the ninth, runner on first base. 2 balls, 2 strike count to the batter. But anyway, all four teams have been affected by weather at some point in this tournament. The thing is, Florida area, there's a pop-up to right field. That's going to be a can of corn out there in right field. 2 outs for Bethune-Cookman in the top of the ninth. Getting back to that, Florida A&M has the furthest degree of separation from their weather delays. Their weather delay occurred on Wednesday. Everybody else has been affected Thursday and yesterday, more recently by their weather delay.
Yeah.
Fam, you got the day off yesterday. And not only did they have the day off yesterday due to weather, they knew that they were going into the day with the day off once the schedule got shuffled. So that, you don't have to worry about the emotional drain going into your pregame prep, getting yourself mentally ready for a game because you know you have the day off. So that's a little bit more time in the training room, a little bit more time studying film, going over batting charts and pitching charts and everything like that. So I think FAMU has the greatest advantage out of any team, and given the weather situation, it would be most disappointing if FAMU is not able to pull it out over the other 3 remaining teams. And I'm really not trying to be a homer when I sound like that. That's just looking at the data.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Drew in terms of they would be favored in terms of the comfortability. I happened to be at the hotel where both Bethune-Cookman and FAMU were staying. And they actually let them do that. They have both been about business. They getting up, eating breakfast on time. I've seen the bus pull up to get them ready to go. I hadn't seen anybody being, late. They've been all timely. So I think these young people, are pretty disciplined at this point, college-wise. And you really don't hear much of anything. I know hotel, we got back late. I didn't see any Bethune-Cookman people, any FAMU folks out late in the lobby, moving around or whatever as I was moving and dressing, getting back and forth.
Shot at the right field. Sorry, Dr. Gill. Shot at the right field, near the track, and it is caught, and it is over. University of Arkansas Pine Bluff will advance. They defeat Bethune-Cookman by a score of 13-8. There will be a new SWAC champion for 2026. Pull out the bingo card. Where's Brian Fulford at to tell me what the odds were on this before this tournament happened? Sorry, Dr. Cavil, I had to cut you off with that.
Unbelievable.
No, that was a perfect way to do it, and that's why I lit it in there. This is the 5th-6 years since we hadn't seen a back-to-back champion in the SWAC. Yeah. I think it's getting just that much more challenging, particularly for the tournament, because there's so many variables that go on. The regular season is a mile. If you're consistent, you can get that done. In the tournament, it only takes, an inning hiccup here and there, and you can find yourself on the back foot, and it becomes very challenging.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks, Coach Pettaway.
Yeah.
Bethune-Cookman in basketball this year, Bethune-Cookman in baseball and tournament action. And guess what? The year before that, Southern University basketball regular season champions. Wow, there's a big flash of lightning. I'm serious. I'm serious. And then they lose in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
Dr. Cavil, I've been accused of being anti-tournament. So I won't say anything else. Here's another clap of thunder. I'm gonna be honest, man. That tournament, boy. Whoo! You better.
Yeah, I love it because it's entertainment. It provides more broadcasts where we are now. You need the broadcast to find a way to generate money. I've always said this about the regular season. That's a challenge, though. I think you get the credit, and we have to find a way where we reward the regular season champion, even if that's developing some type of, off tournament game of ourselves. A little different from baseball because the MEAC, if you would, doesn't play it. So it's a challenge, but other sports you could do it. But the thing about the regular season is I've always challenged folks to say this. Just because you won the regular season doesn't mean that you're playing good at the end of the year. So there may be a team that did not play the regular season as well, but by different definition, by the end of the year, they may be playing better game. I know Coach Pettaway has seen this in basketball. Yeah, you've seen the ebbs and flows of the team, and that's why it's good. And you want to try to get as many wins early because down the stretch, things may happen. Somebody might get hurt. You got to try to
get that momentum going into that tournament.
Get that momentum going, and you can absorb some late season failures, if you would, and still win the regular season championship because you had the overall body of work. But it doesn't mean just because if you're talking about sending the best team to a tournament, it doesn't mean that your regular season champion is the best team at that time.
Right. Well,
Prairie View basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, and the way Bethune-Cookman. Now, there's a variable that we really kind of forget as fans. Generally talk about it, but Bethune-Cookman had one of their cogs off the team for whatever reason. We heard injury, and then some people were saying he got pulled, but that was a different basketball team without him.
Yeah.
Right? Coach Pettaway, that was a totally different team. Now, credit to them, they got everything they needed to do early, were able to hold on. But if you watch that team the last couple of weeks of the season, you were saying, Coach Pettaway was telling everybody, this is not the same team.
Right.
Everybody just kind of watches scores and they see victories, win-loss, and then they be like, hey, Bethune-Cookman, all that. That was not the same team.
Right.
Bethune-Cookman baseball should get tremendous credit. But this wasn't the dominant team as they were last year in terms of conference play. Yes, they had some better non-conference wins. And we should celebrate this. But this Bethune-Cookman team was not as dominant as they were last year in terms of this season, particularly going down the stretch. As people said, the last couple of games, they were not everybody to sweep anything. They had ebbs and flows. In fact, the last weekend was the first time all season where they lost the middle game and stretched it out and had to play the third game to win the regular season by percentage points. Yeah, so you knew there was some chinks there. Yes, we got excited because what they did in a lot of ways in non-conference baseball, to their credit. But we let that confuse a lot of folks and didn't really talk about what they were doing in conference, where they had some close games and there were some opportunities for teams to be able to do what you did. And you just get where your team may get a little tight. They don't quite field. You get a weather situation where it kind of throws you off in terms of your timing. And next thing you know, you're going home and thinking about your great regular season overall, but a little down because you didn't put the final stamp on a great season by winning back-to-back tournament championships. But
so right now, Arkansas Pine Bluff, even though they beat Bethune-Cookman, they have the longest way to get to the championship. They have to play the most games out of anybody. So now, how do you reset your rotation when you got all these delays, these weather delays? How are these coaches going to reset their rotations to come up with the proper pitching?
I think they're gonna go. They're gonna go to the bullpen, and they're gonna look to see if there's somebody that can give them a couple of innings. We've seen this in the tournament too, where you have a guy where you're asking him to give you maybe 2 or 3 innings.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But he gets it kind of going. The adrenaline flows for him, and before you know it, he goes 5, 6.
Yeah.
And
also,
let me finish this, AD Drew. What if your bats continue what Pine Bluff doing? Now you're putting the pressure on the other team, and now you're even allowing your pitcher to be comfortable because you're putting up 3 runs or 4 runs in the first inning or 2. So that's the unique thing of baseball. It's not just one side. It's also what are you doing offensively at the bats that can help a pitcher become a little pitcher. And is the other team against that pitcher? Are they pushing it? Are they going deep in the count? Or are they hitting off first pitch or 2, which means the pitcher's not throwing a lot of pitches because they're hitting the first ball and it's grounded out. And he's getting out of an inning with only 5 or 6 pitches instead of 12 or 15 where you're wearing them down.
Yeah. Like Dr. Cavil said, the one thing UAPB has been able to do pretty much during this tournament is get off to early leads. Mm-hmm. You put up crooked numbers early in baseball with a, not one of your top pitchers. It definitely helps. It definitely helps you out. So that's one thing that Arkansas Pine Bluff needs to do. That's number one. Number two, Coach Pettaway, and we see this a lot of times in the tournament. There's a two-way player somewhere on Bethune-Cookman's roster that may have only thrown once this season, or may not have even thrown at all this season, but maybe used to pitch in high school or something like that. That is when you discover that two-way player, and everybody goes back and asks that coach, why wasn't he pitching more during the season for your particular team? Let me give you some numbers. But the Arkansas Pine Bluff, 6-12 in midweek games this season. They played Alabama State, who was 6-8 in midweek games. And the reason I bring up the midweek games, because that's the scenario that Dr. Cavil is talking about, where pretty much you have bullpen sessions. In a midweek game, you usually only go get 2, max 3 out of a starter, and you start piecemealing it after that, or you have some kids who you're going to get work. That's the kind of game that we're going to be looking at in this particular matchup. But Alabama State also is kind of in a Sunday scenario, a day 3 scenario. Alabama State 7-6 in the third game of a 3-game series. So somewhere in between there is where you'll find Alabama State, or Arkansas Pine Bluff, you'll find closer to that 6-12 scenario. Florida A&M Southern. Florida A&M in game 3 of a series, 10-3. Southern is 6-6. Midweek games, Florida A&M 5-11. Southern 3-12 in non-conference midweek games, non-SWAC opponent midweek games. So let's take a look at that. And if y'all want to, I got doubleheader stats too, Dr. Cavil. You want me to go ahead and nerd out for them? Because you could potentially be looking at doubleheader.
Got analytics.
Okay. Should Arkansas? Well, let's start. Florida A&M. Game 1 of doubleheaders, 2-1. Game 2 of doubleheaders, 0-3. Should Florida A&M lose? Southern, 0-3 on doubleheader days. Game 1 and game 2, Carlos, does not favor Southern in a doubleheader. Alabama State, they won't see a doubleheader today, but they could potentially see one tomorrow. 3-0 in doubleheaders, game 1, 2-1 on game 2. Pine Bluff, 2-4, game 1. We've already seen game 1 today. 3-3 on game 2 of a doubleheader, which is what the scenario we'll be looking at for later on this afternoon. So take that. That's not on Black College Nines. That's the research. That's the research I've done since I wrote that article on Black College Nines. But you ought to go get this type of analytics in 2 places: Black College Nines and right here on the Black College Sports Network. I just happen to be on the Carlos Brown show today.
Yeah.
Well, the fan part of me now does not feel even more uncomfortable because and you guys, you're more into it as far as the baseball analogy, but it makes me think now. Yeah, FAMU's in an outstanding position, and I think now. Let me put it this way: do you think the scoring in the next few games is going to be elevated, or it's going to be more of a defensive games? I think it's the first thing I mentioned. I think you're going to the game's going to be more high scoring for some reason.
Yeah, I think the stick's going to have to come into play now because the arms are tired. The arms are weary. So I think whoever's swinging the best sticks at this point, I think they're going to have an advantage.
Because, Charles, you remember we've gone to some NCAA regional games, and kind of what AD and Dr. Cavil was saying, that first game you're going up against that number 1 seed, you kind of have to piecemeal the pitching, for lack of a better term. You can get 3 innings here, 3 innings there, specifically in the second game. If they lose, then the pitching is at that point.
Well, I think the word bullpen session is definitely something that these teams are going to have to keep an eye on. And I agree, Florida A&M's a fresher team. I mean, Coach Shoup can mix and match a little bit deeper because he does have the rest and he does have the arms, the fresher arms. There's no doubt about that. And I've seen it in SWAC Baseball Tournament time and again. Who has arms left at this time? Who has enough arms, quality and quantity? And right now, by far, Florida A&M has that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get it done, but I think pitching is going to be important. How UAPB comes down off this high. Doesn't UAPB have to play again later on?
Yes, UAPB would play. Let's see, this is the 12 o'clock game. UAPB has to come back in the 3 o'clock game today to face Alabama State.
See, that's going to be interesting for UAPB because they just pulled off the upset of the tournament. They just knocked off the defending champs, and
no, they did it twice. So is it an upset if you do it twice?
Well, no, what I'm saying is
right.
What
I'm
saying is that the emotional part of what they just did and having to come back and wipe that off the slate and get back focused on what's next, because sometimes you do have that high. And so this is something that UAPB in the history of their baseball program. I mean, you look at, just UAPB baseball in general and what their coach has done has been outstanding the first couple of years he's been there. Now you got to wipe the slate clean and you got to do it all over again in just a short period of time. Coming down off that high and having to do it again, that's going to be interesting. The emotional part of it. That was my point.
That's
Charles, it just would be hit.
Sheila Brown, I wanted to ask you, and you lived this as an AD, you've seen this in previous coaching while.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen examples where teams get on emotional high, where they feeling and they play up to the level of how good they've been playing? So sometimes just because you're at emotional high, that doesn't have to be a detriment. I see Coach Petaway, I'm sure you've seen this in the basketball tournament.
Yeah.
If you look at your team and you be like, oh, they in a different groove right now. We want to play. We want to play. They putting up shots, they're going. And Wheeler, you seen football teams where week after week or a different thing, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, we want to get right back out there because we're feeling good about what's going on. So I think there's examples where it's hard to really just get in one direction or another. It's going to be a big matchup. And we got to kind of break it down in terms of the pitches and things like that. But as I said, Pine Bluff gets a pitcher that gets in a groove that normally only pitches 2 innings, but he gives you 4. And you get a couple of runs early. All of a sudden, you're in a battle. And you'll play it through the 9 innings. And before you know it, we've seen this. I've seen this with the Prairie View team. They played 2 in a row, and they had a pitcher that pitched midweek games and had a losing record. He got in a little bit of groove, and next thing you know, he went 6 innings. They were able to get to the closer, shut down the door. Prairie View's off to a championship.
And you right on the cusp of winning the whole thing now. You right there. You can smell it. You can taste it. I don't think you got to worry about no downtime now. Those kids are smelling it. They right there. They can reach out and touch it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you got to worry about nobody, losing the feeling, losing the funk, that sort of thing and stuff. They're ready to roll.
And speaking of funk, Wheeler, these kids probably have on the same socks, the same underwear, the same everything else. Because when you get into a groove like this, you don't change up anything when it comes to your routine. You know, whatever they ate on the first day, they order from that same restaurant. Coach Pettaway know exactly what I'm talking about. We as coaches get stupid stitches, not superstitious, stupid stitches with this.
And for baseball, they are really
exactly. And you want to talk about historic? I don't know if everybody realizes this. Arkansas Pine Bluff is the only team that was in this tournament who has never won the SWAC baseball tournament. So, and for them, if they want to come and do this in a historical way, having to win essentially 5 games within a 40-hour time span, boy, talk about something that redefines your program. I mean, this is what it is. And Charles, you mentioned pitching. Make sure you go to my articles all 3 days on Black College Nines. I have been keeping up with the pitch counts, so you can kind of gauge who may be available and for how long by doing the numbers on Black College Nines. So,
lock of the week, book it, FAMU. 2026.
Somebody mute Carlos now. Mute Carlos. I don't want to hear nothing about you picking FAMU.
Book it.
You picking FAMU is like your 2-year contract is garbage.
Lock of the week.
Well, now we got to reset. Now that even the baseball magazines all have Bethune-Cookman in a certain regional, and so now that's going to change. Who is the favorite right now? Is it FAMU? Southern University's rolling. UAPB's red hot. We ain't talked about Alabama State yet.
The silent assassin, Alabama State. FAMU, quick predictions, and we got to get time out here. FAMU wins it. Coach Pettaway?
I don't know, man. I still think Crenshaw's trying to work on some stuff.
I'm riding Crenshaw till the wheels come off. I'm riding Crenshaw.
AD, I'm a FAMU.
Oh, yeah, FAMU striking it.
Strike. Strike again.
Yeah, can we get a prediction from Dr. Cavil?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Alabama State. I think they quietly have a solid season. They've been right there. They've gotten hot at the right time in the tournament. Things are falling their way, and they're below the radar.
See, y'all didn't want us at the SWAC anyway. That's why y'all didn't pick us. I understand that.
No, I think FAMU's good, but there's some things that made me struggle with FAMU all season and in this tournament. They still give up big runs. They've been able to do some things, and things seem to be falling out. But this is where they struggled. They've struggled the last couple of years where they've gotten out front, and then things kind of fall away in the doubleheader about the tournament. So I'm interested to see, can they get it right? But I think the team that is quietly that people are not necessarily going to get up for is Alabama State, and it's going to work into their favor.
And should FAMU make it to the championship game, that would mean 3 of the last 4 years you would have had at least one of the Florida teams in the championship game of the SWAC tournament.
That's big. With twice them playing.
Twice of the other 2 years, they've actually faced each other in the championship game.
That's crazy.
Well, on that note, guys, we appreciate it, giving us some insight and being on location. We'll find out Sunday.
Yeah.
who wins it all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and we appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, man.
Check out my recap on Black College Nines sometime this evening or in the morning, like it's been with all this weather.
Yeah, very good article. Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's see. Let's take a quick time out. Coach Pettaway, get ready.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna talk some basketball, some NBA playoffs. I'm still excited about it. although the Heat are gone. But some interesting things to talk about. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you've got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot.
I believe that's the golden time of the day. That's how prophetic. You rock, Roy. You rock. Because UAPB pulled off the. Is that one of the top upsets in recent memory?
Yes.
Have to be. Have to be. And by the way, there's my famous cousin. She's always tough on me. Telling me about Kerrick Jackson is supposed to last one more year in Missouri. Okay. I don't know if I want to get into that one. Kerrick Jackson was at Southern University and then had a tough situation at the University of Missouri, Coach Pettaway and Wheeler. But now, as we do a right turn, NBA playoffs. First of all, the Knicks. They're very strong, Coach Pettaway. Mike Brown, Coach Tibbs, Charles said, and I happen to agree with Charles, that was shocking that Coach Tibbs was let go. But the Knicks, looking very, very strong panel. And I was watching some of the national shows, and boy, they are really picking on James Harden. And then Coach Pettaway, you said the pick and roll, how they defend the net. But go ahead, sir.
Right. Well, see, for me, in order for the Cavs to have a chance, they've got to figure out the pick and roll. In other words, all they're doing is they're taking whoever James Harden is guarding, they're bringing them up to set the screen, and they're switching. You don't have to switch every time. Right. And I took that's elementary. When you played against us, when I coached, we did not switch for that very reason. So you don't get a mismatch. We gonna stay on. It's your job to fight through that screen.
Fight through.
And half of the time, they're not even setting a hard screen. He's just lazy. James Harden saves his energy for the offensive end of the floor. But see, that's what different coaches have different philosophy. Mine was, if you want to play on the offensive end, you better play some doggone defense.
You got that right. You got that right.
Part of that is, anybody that scouts you will tell you, we don't switch.
Don't switch. Make a note of that.
Right. We do not switch. We fight through these doggone screens, and we're gonna keep man on man. You're not gonna give you a mismatch. Now, the other thing that they can do, they gotta help him recover. They know James is weak when it comes to defense. So now you gotta slide your doggone feet towards him to help him close the gap down, and then get back to your
man. That's right. That's right.
Now, Coach Pettaway, to your point, I'm off work for the summer. I work in education, so I can get to see all those things now. But I'll make a note. Big Perk. Oh, I love his analysis. Him and what's the guy named James? What's the guy that played at Duke? Jay Williams?
Yeah, Jay Williams. Yeah.
Okay. To your point, Big Perk stood up and said, you got to move your doggone feet. Big, you know.
Perk say slide them puppies. You got to slide them puppies.
Slide them puppies. Because he said he had to do it when he played. And he says they're lazy, to your point, and the effort is not there. And then he also took a shot at Cleveland's coach.
Right.
And the 50-50 balls. You're right, Coach Pettaway. Harden them, just like looking and moving in slow motion. This series hadn't been good at all compared to the other series. Man, it's exciting.
Right. But the Cavaliers playing at home, they will have the crowd in their favor. Hopefully that will give them a little more energy. They'll play with a little more. Hopefully now.
Hopefully, yeah.
But right now, New York is on a roll, man. They're playing a lot of people. Their bench is deep, and man, they're just getting it done. They're shooting the ball well, and they know that if the game comes down to it, they got a guy that can get them a bucket, and that's James Harden. All right, Donovan.
Let me ask you one more thing, Coach Pettaway.
Go ahead.
Offensively, it just seems they get into that habit of dribble, isolation, and I don't see the ball movement. And then Jared Allen had a nice first half. I mean,
didn't see the ball.
No, didn't see it. And I know he gets all of his points off of, rebounds and stuff. But man, you got two twin towers there. Big Perk took a big shot at their coach, and I gotta see his point.
Right. Well, he's right. The coach is the one that's got to make them give the ball to the post players. Because what they do is they dribble. Now it's a late shot. That late shot clock. Now you're not taking a very good shot. You could have gotten that ball inside. They could have gone inside out. Let Mobley and Allen touch the basketball. Maybe that opens up the floor for them to take some easier shots. But Cleveland is struggling too much on the offensive end of the floor. They had to work too hard to get a shot.
So he's being out-coached.
That's hurt them. Well, I don't want to say it. I let them say it, but yeah, that's what yeah. Because you don't let a team go make a 10, 12 nothing run on you. You don't call a timeout. Come on, man.
Timeout.
Charles, by calling the timeout or subbing, man. Those are the two ways to slow the game down. Put somebody at that table to sub on these free throws, give you some more time, and call it a timeout to try to break momentum.
Mike Brown's out coaching him, Charles. Take it back what you said about Mike Brown.
Yeah, Mike Brown doing a great job.
Look at what I got on right here. Detroit.
Okay.
That's the team the Knicks should have been playing. Detroit got bounced and beat by 30 at home. So I'm gonna get that out of the way.
Shame on them.
Shame on them. Shame on because I think Detroit would have pumped New York. I think. Oh yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Yes, sir. Yeah. But that being said, that didn't happen, so we can move past that. Game one, you had a 23-point lead. You had a chance to get the Knicks uncomfortable, and the Knicks came back and won that game. I'm gonna be honest. I think this series is over.
Yeah, I do too.
They're done mentally, Charles.
Yeah. Mentally, I think the series is a wrap. They may get game 3, but I think game 4. I think the Knicks will find a way to get back to the Garden up 3-1 and close it out and be in the finals for the first time in however many years. So, James Harden's a liability on defense. No doubt about it. They're being outcoached. The Knicks are just a better team. I just think that's just the way it winds out to me. The Knicks are just a better team at this point.
Right. And in the West now, those are the best games in the West. But now, Carlos, once again, regular season, San Antonio owned Oklahoma.
Right.
Regular season.
Right.
But now that the money is on the line, OKC is playing, and they're playing well. That's one of the deepest teams in the NBA. You got a starter that has only played in one game, and you got a 2-1 lead against a very good ball club.
Bench points, 75, 76 points.
75
for OKC. And they were talking about, Fox, being hurt. That's a big factor. But I think the two guards played well, although one turned it over. And then after game, Wheeler, it's always sensationalism sometimes. After that, here's what I mean. After that first game, Wemby, a great player, but he was a god. After one game. Now, how we humbled the next game. It's about consistency. It's about consistency.
And then you got to bring it every night. You got to bring it.
Yeah. And see, in the first game, they weren't physical with Wemby. But now, man, they put something on that young guy. They put some body. Hey, look, this is like 80s basketball now in the play. They going back. Man, they've been very physical with him, and they are allowing it to happen.
Well, Carlos, can I add to your point of what you just said? After that monumental performance in game 1, and we talked about how Wemby is this and that, and everyone is framing him as the next face of the league. Can we stop that for right now? Can we pump the brakes on that a little bit? He's down 2-1 in the series, and he's humble to the point where he's not there, and he knows he's not there. I mean, can we pump the brakes on that face of the league? We could have a whole other conversation about faces of leagues and the Mount Rushmore and all that, but no. He's not there yet.
I like to say it's a weight room issue. Oh my God, it's a weight room issue.
He need a few more biscuits in his pocket.
He got that right. A couple more bricks in the back pocket.
12 months ago, we were saying Anthony Edwards was the face of the league. Where is he this year? So I mean,
he's in Cancun.
But he did have but one thing about him, he didn't make an excuse. That a bone bruise is tough. It's nagging. But to Charles' point, some on social media and around the national prognosticators were saying the Knicks No, be the best player you can be. Develop every year, Coach Pettaway,
right?
And get better. It's a team sport. But OKC, man, I'm gonna be honest. I was worried.
Yeah.
I was worried after game one, and then even last night, man, San Antonio came out
15-0.
Yeah.
I'm like, uh-oh. But the heart of a champion, they were able to overcome that and then came back and then win by double digits.
Right, win by 15. You go down by 15, you win by 15. And that's because defensively, they got after people, and on the offensive end, they shared the basketball. When have you seen a bench score 75, 76 points? They play, man. They play together. They play for each other.
And Wheeler, they're going to always be in the game with that kind of production.
Yep.
And also, one of my notes was that with OKC, SGA, they're really running some hard traps at him. And so I know kind of the announcers are like, he's kind of having an off series and stuff, but when it counted, he's the master of the mid-range jumper.
Right.
And he was a facilitator also the last ball game. So, you don't try to just overdo it. If you're getting that kind of defense put at you, then others have to step up. And, boy, we saw the others.
Right. And he's getting them involved. That's the key thing.
Now, speaking of thin, OKC's a big guy. He's thin, too, like Wemby. And but these, oh, you mean like Wemby is out playing him?
Chet Holmgren and Wemby, that's a mismatch to me.
Yeah. But they both are from, I call the European style of big man play.
Yeah.
Because the days are down in that post, and that's why I'm always so frustrated. My best friend, I talk to him all the time. He's a 76ers fan. Man, nobody, if he stayed in that paint, Coach Pettaway, nobody could guard this man.
Right. Yep, you're right.
But those days are gone. I know that that 89 style, it's all out on the wing, the bigs play out.
Unfortunately.
Well, see, I knew you was gonna say that. Well, because if you were 7 foot, I think you would be down in that paint.
No blood, no foul.
And to that point, the NBA popularity is down according to prognosticators because it's too much 3-point shooting. Not enough in the post and even mid range. Do you think that trend will continue, or we will see a change coming?
It would take a game change. It would take somebody to come into the game to affect the overall outcome in order for them to change philosophy. Right now, I think it's going to remain the way it is.
Because even the big cat, he plays out on the wing a lot.
Right.
Or Coach Pettaway, is he a true 5 or he's a
no? He's a stretch
4-5. Okay,
he's a stretch 4. Yep.
When it's all said and done, who's gonna be the NBA champions?
Right now, OKC.
Really,
but we also said the same thing about Bethune-Cookman.
But you know what? I've always said the winner of the West will win the championship. Now, if the Spurs were to come back and beat them, there's nobody in that East that can handle OKC or San Antonio.
And you know the media would, they want New York. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. They want that media market.
NBA draft going to be coming up shortly. Of course, I looked at my team, the Miami Heat. They're looking at the guard from Alabama. Also, there's these things, and we could talk about this quickly. The Greek Freak. I wish they stopped. Pat Riley, I'm going to call you after
Call him, man. Call him.
And it's not going to be nice. We're going to get into it, Coach Pettaway, because I I think you're giving up too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Two draft picks. Don't do it. Don't do it, Jack.
I agree. He's too injury prone right now. Yep.
Yeah.
The age and injuries. That's you don't sell the house for him, man. Not me.
Pat Riley looking for the quick fix, Carlos. He know he only got a few years left in the saddle.
To your point, he wants to win now, but he said that 4 years ago. I want to win now. I want to win now. And then also Kevin Ware, Coach Pettaway.
Right.
I just think something's going on. I think he's talented. Spoelstra called out and say he has to be more professional. I didn't know if that was off the court or on the court. I'm not sure. Then the Pelicans can get a pick from Milwaukee. They have interest in. They would love to have Kevin Ware.
Yeah.
But don't do it, Pat. Hero is a defensive liability too.
Yeah.
Is he a liability as much as Harden?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Oh,
It's
wow.
been a while since I see somebody bad as Harden.
Wow. Wow. But young talent coming in, the projections are, man, most of the top picks, freshmen in college, 1 year, Coach Pettaway.
Yep.
No more to Tim Duncan to stay 4 years and get in there.
Oh.
Man. And expansion. Last thing. I don't know if I'm for that. Because if it's quote unquote kind of watered down.
It's watered down enough. You're exactly right.
Adding 2 more teams, Vegas. We know about why Vegas. Seattle probably deserve a team, but I don't know, Coach. And speaking of in town, I'm saying it again. Alert. What is Will Wade doing? With trying to bring in semi-professional professional.
He's bringing in a semi-pro team, international team.
Shame on you, Will Wade. Nobody wants to play for him. Huh? I don't know. That's just weird.
This is a byproduct of an uncontrolled system. If the old safeguards were in place, he wouldn't have these type of players coming in. But he's taking advantage. The system's allowing him to do it, so he's going to do it. And he's bringing back LSU's bringing back these old coaches that have been there. I mean, Johnny Jones. I mean, I love Johnny Jones. I hate he left Texas Southern, but you know where I'm going with it. So Will Wade trying to turn the clock back and bring this thing back to where it was when he was there the first time.
Yep. Coach Pettaway, I'm going to go get my neighbor for this. He's a big LSU guy, and guess what? Shame on you. The bill will come due. The bill will come due. I know it's important to win, but at what cost, as I always say?
At all cost.
At all costs? Okay.
Yes, at all. I mean, the way the landscape is now. I mean, where the safeguards, where the rules, $50 million football rosters and growing. It's going to probably be more. $50 million basketball rosters. Where are the adults in the room? If there is none, right now, anyway.
Yeah. For me in my house,
we're
not going to do that. We're not going to play that. We got a budget like everybody else, and we try to live within that means. And you can go ahead and spend all these millions and millions of dollars. I won't feel sorry for you. And it's not guaranteed you're going to win it.
Sure,
right?
Because if that was the case, doggone it, you would buy your victory, Coach Pettaway. But they're not doing that. Shame on them. Closing comments, Coach Pettaway.
Well, I'm looking forward to the game tonight with the Knicks and the Cavs. NBA playoffs.
Knicks to the Eastern Conference and then to the NBA Finals.
Right.
Willa?
You know, there was a article somewhere that I was reading with Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson and somebody, and Marshall Faulk, you know, complaining about not being able to get a sniff at a NFL job or something like that. And,
watch it, Willa.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Watch it.
I'm just saying.
Don't you
I'm
touch
just
Coach
saying.
Falk.
They talking to the wrong people in terms of why they're not getting an opportunity. They should be talking to some of them coaches that have been scrubbing the bottom of the barrel for the longest time, that haven't gotten a sniff, as opposed to these superstars who just woke up one morning once again and decided they wanted to be head coaches, and somebody go and hire them the very next day.
Yeah, well, I love my Southern University.
That's all. And I love Southern too. I love Southern too, Carlos. Don't get me wrong.
But your point is valid. Your point is very valid. Charles, or did we get one for you?
I'm looking forward to the rest of the baseball tournament. Man, what a huge upset. So now I'm thinking about my prediction. My head says Florida A&M, but my heart says Southern University.
Oh, come
Riding Crenshaw, riding Crenshaw.
Crenshaw gonna be free one way or the other. Yep. It's the same thing. The Carlos Brown contract is ready to go.
If that happens, I'll go on that baseball field and apologize. I was wrong. I can't shave my head because that's already done. But he would have made a believer out of me. I'm an E-Pro coach, by the way.
There you go.
Riding Crenshaw, riding Crenshaw.
It's gonna be tough. You gotta come out the loser bracket and pitch it. It's gonna be there. Also, on a serious note, if you work with an athletic support group at an HBCU, please go to my blackcollegesportsnetwork.com. Look for the click here button and fill out the form. And in 2026, Black College Sports Network, we are going to change the narrative. So support us, please, because Black College Sports Network done some great things on the HBCU sports media space. Was number one this past year. So we can't do it without you in the chat room. My simple closing comment is simply this. We are all we can count on. We have to make sure that we tell the story. We give the production. We give the sports stories. We give the analysis. And we give our opinions. We can only count on us. And that's how it should be. On that note, I'm going to relax. Woo, I'm off the whole summer. I don't go back to work till August, Coach Pettaway.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I gotta get in shape mentally and physically and get it done. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Until next Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until next time, peace and God bless.